So welcome to session 7. And session 7 regards itself with this reflecting on the experience of doing a sensory journey or a labyrinth. Now we'll do it using this 50-50 listening. So I'll share the presentation so we can remember what this 50-50 listening is. And session 7 is called The Space Between. Thank you for this picture, Eugene. It's a good one for the description of this session. And we just did the 4 pillars of well-being, which is the home practice that we set last session 6. And the 50-50 listening. So the 50-50 listening is this idea that half your attention is on the external world, and the other half is really noticing the breath and the body at the same time. And this relates a little bit to what I'll be talking about later, how participatory theater, the oppressed, activates this 50-50 listening, where when you're aware of something on the stage, but you're aware also of what's happening within, rather than being lost in the empathy or identification with the character. I'm going to give some time now for us to share our experiences of the home practice, which we set up a long time ago, more particularly of your experience of the labyrinth, but doing so with this 50-50 listening. And then we're going to go into how it works, or if it works at all, and what is the basis, what is the theory behind sensory labyrinth theater and context-oriented arts. So we spoke a little bit, Ida and I, about your experience of the labyrinth, but it would be nice to also hear from other people. If you can remember it. It's about a month ago now. No?
It's not that far away. It was not last year, but it looks far away. I'm going to start, be short. Talking about this 50-50, I was talking also with the guys in the church that when the labyrinth starts, it's like I enter in a zone, in a tunnel. So all my focus somehow is channeled in that situation, because unlike on stage when you perform, the actions that we did were repetitive, so we had to do it over and over and over and over again. So it's some kind of, it's almost like a mantra. It goes on, and it changes the way I focus, the way I listen, because I'm really, it's really nice. I'm completely aware of about everything that happens. I can hear the things that happen outside the church, if people are talking, or the wood is getting chopped, the music inside the church, the people from the that are waiting to get inside the church, and also our movement. And for me, it's like somehow it's like an awareness and a meditation in itself. All what we do there for 2 hours, it's really special. I never experienced in other circumstances this type of awareness. And usually after it happens, after the last person passes through the labyrinth, I need some time to, I don't know, to let it out and to let it go. It's like the tail of the comet. I still feel that energy. That is really beautiful. It's really special, and I love it. It's like beyond space and time. This is the experience. I don't look at the watch. I don't know how many people are. I could keep on going all night. It's really nice, and I'm aware also of every little thing that happens inside of me. So it's really a balanced awareness. I really love that. I really love everything that happened there. This is my experience regarding the 50-50.
Mm.
And it's really quite amazing.
Thank you, Mayatita. Anybody else want to share any reflection on what happened for you in the performance of the labyrinth? Or maybe what remains with you from it, if there is anything that remains with you from it.
I can say another small stuff. For example, when we put people in the magic box, we have to pass through all those benches, and it's a really tight space. And the floor is not even. So at first, the first times we were doing it, we tried to navigate the box. We were hitting everything. I mean, literally everything that we could hit, we would hit it. And I would imagine the people in the box, and it was, it was, it was like I said, oh my God, we're never gonna make it. I mean, it's going to be nothing holy and sacred in this moment because you're gonna hit the box, hitting everything. It's like Romanian funeral services. So, but after I think after the second day or the third day, this tunnel started to form, and I was not even looking anymore at what we were at the limits. I was just walking, looking at my feet, and just pulling the magic box, and I was not hitting anything. It was like smooth. Everything was in its place. We were not hitting anything. So it was, and every time I was exiting that state and entering into the mind, trying to modify something. Oh, let me be careful about this. I would hit something. But when I was letting go of everything, I was letting the flow take over. It was super smooth.
Okay, thank you, Mayatita. I think you've... is it me that's frozen? Or you? No, it's him. Okay, hope he comes back. Okay, anybody else want to share what remains for you from that experience?
I wanted to share the impact which we had every day. None of those days, none of 8 or 9 days of performance, they were not the same. Every day was some there were some differences. Some other people have entered, and that has an impact, and some things happened to us during that days. And well, as far as I saw, we also made this impact on everything happened there. And this is my observation, that the labyrinth is not just growing or just changing. It really acts by itself, including everything which is around it. I don't know, days of the week, weather, everything has an impact. You cannot just repeat as a play on the stage. Some people were asking us if we can repeat the labyrinth, but in some other locations. And it's so much difficult to explain to people that no, it's too much connected to the particular space where it's created. If we move it, it might be some other labyrinth, but definitely not this one.
Yep, site specific. Does anybody else want to share what remains for you from that experience?
I would like to say a couple of words. I wanted to share one case that happened when you were already not with us. We started the labyrinth, and on my location, if you remember, from a side of a football field, came a woman, just like a random woman. She came, and at my location, everything was going on. The person is in labyrinth, the other person is coming to me, and she just entered the place, and she's like, "Oh, hello. What is happening here? I'm just taking my kids to football, and I heard it's a Ukrainian school. I wanted to ask, how are you?" And I'm like, what to do with her? And I proposed her to experience the labyrinth, and she went through it, and she was. I had a feeling that she was, like, on purpose. She appeared there because what is the chance when you take your kids to football and you get in this situation? And she was really, really happy about it. And for me, I want to say, I noticed some things like what works in labyrinth, it works the same in life. For example, in my case, when first I was thinking of my location, and then you proposed me to switch it to another place, and I came to a conclusion that it's yes, it's really good to know what you want and imagine how you want it in details, but if you stay flexible, you can receive much more than you could imagine, and you can get to a place that is really kind of like created for you. So you in life, it's the same. If you're open and if you're flexible, you get much more interesting things. Probably that's all I want to say now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Я також скажу декілька слів. Коли від мене йшли люди, я закінчувала з ним бесіду словами, що ну ось ти вже змінився трошки інший. А починала тим, що коли ми зустрічаємось, ми всі залишаємо одне одному сліди. І коли я відводила людей вже далі до лабіринту, я дійсно відчувала, як люди змінювались,
Можна я перекладу?
і змінювалась я разом з ними.
So Tatiana is saying that when she meet people, she tell them that we leave like scars on each other, like we influence each other. And when they were leaving her location, she told them that now you are changed, and she literally felt that person who came and who is living, that it's like a different person who is really changed.
І це було дуже так для мене важливо і самі відчути, і показати іншим той вплив, який ми залишаємо одне одному.
And it was important to me to feel and to show to people the influence that we have on one another.
І для мене це був такий глибинний смисл, зміст про те, що навіть випадкові зустрічі змінюють нас.
And it had a meaning for me that even випадкові. Help me.
Короткі.
Occasional.
Occasional people that we meet influence us a lot.
І я навчилася, мабуть, ще глибше відчувати інших.
And I have learned to feel other people more on a more deep level.
Це дуже цінно.
And it's really precious.
Дякую. Thank you.
Thank you.
There is something more I just remembered, as not that many people in our team have changed their locations during the labyrinth, and I was lucky in that, and because I changed 3 different roles. I was meeting the people in the very beginning, then I get to the labyrinth, to the dark, and I ended up in a funeral agency.
In the way, sorry?
With my tita. In a church.
Oh, you did?
Yes. Nikita couldn't come for the weekend, so I replaced him, and my last 2 days were in a church. And then in the church, I realized that by that time, the labyrinth itself, it already definitely works by itself. Doesn't matter where I am exactly. The process for people, it's actually keeps working on the same level. Doesn't matter if I'm downstairs in the dark or just in meeting and inviting them, they still can pass through it and experience all this path.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Matuka, do you want to say anything? I don't know if you can hear us, or Anna, or Eugenia, if you're there. No.
I can say I can say that for me, it was a really surprising experience because I felt the most happy and full of love tiredness ever.
Full of love.
Yes, yes, each and every day I felt such a big amount of love for every person that I was touching and guiding. And it was so new for me to feel actually love these people that I don't know. I don't know what happened, but it really, really that I was under the sky in the open air was so beautiful. Hearing the birds and environment, feel blessed to be able to provide this for people experiences. We had a person from our family here in Sibiu that went through the labyrinth, and she was so scared. She didn't want to go through the darkness down in the labyrinth, and neither she wanted to go in the magic box in the church. She refused both because she was really claustrophobic. And at the end we talked a little bit, and it was like she really never thought of facing her own fears. She never heard of this concept and never thought that that could happen or should happen, or why should it happen, or and it was really nice for me to see what impact this kind of experience has for people. Yes. And that's about it, I think. Now, it was a really strong experience for me. Maybe also because I exited my normal routine of raising Rada, so it was really nice, really, really intense for me, full of happiness.
Good. Thank you, Metuka.
Thank you.
Oof, time has flown. Okay, so thanks so much for that. I'm going to do a very short, very quick presentation about context-oriented arts, because we haven't spoken in this curriculum about theatre much. We've spoken about psychology, but at its core is what theatre is. So if you remember these triangles that I keep bringing back, well, the level we're looking at in this practice, in this session, is this level of the play, the stage, the character, that this interaction of these three qualities in the universe, energy, matter, and meaning, in the human, is the body, the mind, and the voice, create this illusion of a person. So there are 4 triangles there. There are 3 that create the 4th through this impression of there being a mind and a body and a voice. My voice is speaking. I can hear my voice. I must be here. I have a body. I must be here. I'm thinking. Therefore, I am. And these create the appearance of space and time and the I. So in space, it's the stage, the world. The play is the time. Okay, I have a story that I'm living. I have a future. I have a past. And there's a character on this journey. So this is how it appears. Oh, there's 2 people entered the waiting room. Oh, I see. So Eugenia and Mariatita is rejoining. Ah, okay. So here are some influences on context-oriented arts. Bertolt Brecht, who talks about Vervormungskraft, or alienation. So he didn't want people to lose themselves in the story. His reason for that was because he wanted political change. But he found that when you lose yourself in the story, you lose your capacity to act yourself. Somebody acts for you vicariously. And so to stop people giving their power away by identifying with this character who does everything for them, he tries to prevent the audience from losing itself completely in the character created by the actor, and which consequently leads the audience to be a conscious critical observer. So remember that, because I'll come back to it. Another B, Peter Brook. Peter Brook defined theatre with this formula equals RRA. And these words are the French words répétition, représentation, and assistance. So répétition is in French what they call rehearsals, the constant repetition of something. And notice how this is what mindfulness involves, the constant repetition of bringing our attention back to the breath and the body. And also representation, becoming present. Otherwise, the rehearsal leads to the performance, and it's repeated and repeated, and it just becomes mechanical and doesn't have any energy in it. So the representation is that you are representing it. You're becoming present. You're always coming back to the present. And the assistance is an interesting aspect that Brook acknowledges. There's no theatre without an audience, and the audience is the assistance. And in French, you say l'assist, the piece. So you are a spectator to the piece. You are assisted, and that is a really important aspect when we come to sensory labyrinth theatre, that there is an assistance from the audience to create it what it is. But there's also an assistance even beyond that is quite mystical. Then there's Brecht, so Boal, another B. Boal, theatre is the art of looking at ourselves. And he is the one that said theatre was our first invention as a human. Theatre is the first human invention. And then there's another B. How arrogant can I be? It's me to put myself in the same sentence as those B's. So my theatre or context-oriented arts, which I can probably say much simpler than this, is that theatre is an expression of the illusion of separation. And this comes directly from Boal saying it's our first invention. That theatre was invented when there was this separation that happened. There was the invention of the I, and there's the world outside, the world inside. And that enabled us to create theatre, to believe in these characters, that there's a future and a past. And this is also the source of our suffering, this feeling of separation, which we are constantly trying to heal. And all these attempts to heal it cause drama, because it's an illusion. We're not separate. And the theory of context-oriented arts is if theatre came about through this separation, might it also be something that can heal us from the illusion? And that is the aim of context-oriented arts. And in context-oriented arts, we have this model of three kinds of theatre. We have the classical model, the Cartesian model, which, if you said the word theatre, everybody would think of this. You know, it stems from Greek theatre, where you have the audience, and then you have the orchestra and the scene. So there's the audience sit passively, they watch the actors enact the play, the story. And interestingly enough, theatron, which became the word theatre, was actually just the name for where the audience sit. And it literally means where you're looking from, where one is looking from. And it's the same root as theory. And in Greek Orthodox theoria, which means union with God, which is another interesting aspect. So this classical theater is an expression of the consciousness of the fragmented brain, that there is this observer and the observed, this separation, this mindlessness, if you like, of not realizing that we are creating this world and the drama that it provides for us, this suffering. And then there's what we call Boalian model, or it's orthogonal. Orthogonal means to go in the opposite direction. So you go this way and then you turn 180 degrees and you go the other way. So in this kind of theater, you're in the audience, but the story on the stage is your story, and it doesn't resolve the story for you. The play is performed twice, and you enter the stage and you try and change it. And what happens is, although not all the audience will say stop and come and change the play, they know they can. And this opens a different kind of orthogonal consciousness, which is similar to that 50-50 attention. You're watching the play, but you're implicated in it. You influence it. And this is the reflective brain, when you, or mindfulness, when you actually notice how what's happening inside you is creating what happens outside you. Start to notice that. But there's still a separation, there's still a person experiencing. But what we aim to do in context-oriented arts, or the Bohmian model, this is based on David Bohm, the physicist, who I think we've visited before in the curriculum. Then the observer and the observed become one. And this is what happened in the sensory labyrinth theater. You get a sense of the whole brain, and there's an awakening that happens. Momentarily, perhaps, but once the door is opened, it's not possible to shut it completely again. So there's this collapse of time and space, as Ayatita mentioned, and there's a collapse of the sense of there being an inner and an outer world. And this is beyond explanation, but this is what we aim to do in context-oriented arts and through sensory labyrinth theater. This is what's called proprioception, which is a sudden awareness of the whole thing. And coming back to Brecht, we do that by creating an alienation technique where the person cannot hide, the I cannot hide from being in the theater, from being a character in the theater itself. And then that character is exposed. The ego is exposed as just some kind of idea we've identified with. And this reframes Aristotle's Poetics. And I'm sorry if this is a bit too complicated, but one of the very core texts of theater comes from these Aristotle, the ancient Greek text, which is supposed to be notes from a lecture that Aristotle gave on tragedy. He also lectured on comedy, but those notes did not survive. And he talks about these aspects, the mimesis, which is a kind of imitation, a representation. This is the representation Peter Brook talks about. But in the labyrinth, first of all, there's the development of character. Okay, I'm walking, I'm acting, I am the actor, I'm the character in this play. Then there's imitation, and you say, oh, this is a bit like like my life. Yeah, and there's also this, opening up to the suffering of this separation. That's why there's a lot of emotions that happens. And then you got what's called a peripeteia in ancient Greece, and that is the direct change of the circumstances. This is the orthogonal shift we talk about, where you suddenly become aware, this is very familiar. This is really, why is it so familiar that I am a character in a play? And then you have the anagnosis, which is the sudden awakening to the true nature of the situation. Then usually there's catharsis and then denouement, but these are reversed in the labyrinth. The denouement is French for unraveling, so it's the unraveling of the plot in Greek tragedy. But in the labyrinth, it's a unraveling of the self, and the catharsis is the freedom and the relief from that illusion. So this is the poetics, if you like, reframed for context-oriented arts. So all of this I'm using as a kind of give you some theory around what might be happening in your experience. This is a play. It's half an hour, but I recommend if you want to go further into this, that you can listen to. It's on the YouTube channel. It's called Markov's Blanket, which is a kind of play that plays on this idea of theatre and consciousness being the same thing. Okay, so we've been playing with those. This is a hack that I invite you to practice this week, which is called What Is This? Okay, how are we doing for time? I'm like 5 minutes ago. What is this? So what is this is simply a game, and we'll do this quickly now. Okay, so I invite you to point at something, and in your mind, just say in your own language, say what it is. Just point at objects that you can see and name them. Okay, and start to get closer to objects nearby. And now if you can see it, point at your foot. At your knee. To your chest. Always saying what you're pointing at. Okay, and now end with this. What is this? What is this? What is being pointed at? Now you might say my face or the eyes, but really try and do it with as much objectivity, like scientific objectivity, as you did when you're pointing at the objects. What is this? What is this? Seeing if you can drop the balloon. What is this? What is this? Okay. So thanks for trying that. And this is your hack during the day. I invite you to have a little go of this whenever you start to identify very closely to what's happening in the world. Any answers? What to that question? What is this that you want to share?
I started laughing instantly the moment I posted, "What is this?" And then, wow, this is a new perspective. It's really powerful because you're so used to look outwards and name everything you see. But when you even looking at the chest is not, what is this? This is my chest. But when it's in your face, what is this? It's like, whoa. I had to, I stayed for like 1 minute. I was like, I have no idea. I have no idea what is this. Really powerful. Really so simple. You would never think about it. Wow. 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 Really powerful tool. I love this. I love this. And it shuts the brain. Shuts the brain for a moment. It's like, okay, this is for real. Because you cannot escape it. It's here. What is this? And my brain started giving the answers that it wanted to hear. But if you keep on asking, what is this? What is this? What is this? Then you start to lose the answers that you give. And somehow you go deeper and deeper. It's really, really, really nice exercise. Nice.
And you know how you can't tickle.
It's a good. I think it's a good exercise.
And you know how you can't tickle yourself. Nobody can tickle. Nobody laughs when they tickle themselves, and science isn't sure why that is. But if somebody else tickles you, you laugh. But this is the opposite. Nobody. If somebody points at you and says, "What is this?" It doesn't work because you can see them.
Yes.
Relational. But when you do it to yourself, only you can do it. And this is true about awakening. Only you can do it.
Yes. It's really, really nice. Wow. Where is this coming from?
And this is from Douglas Harding.
Douglas Harding. Very nice. This is a really good exercise. Very good.
Anybody else want to say anything about it?
I love it.
I had this beautiful friend, really stunning woman, and she kept saying, my face, no. So sometimes, being a supermodel is not an advantage to this.
Because she looks at her in the mirror all the time, or she sees the reflection maybe all the time. So she has the image. She cannot go beyond the image that she sees.
I wanted to say that it was really extremely powerful. And first, I just stuck. Yes, I tried to let the things know it's me, it's Eugene, it's my nose, it's whatever. Then I tried to go deeply, but the brain just froze. And after that, I have such a strong feeling that stop. I just want to drop this balloon and get out of here. I don't have the answer. Let the balloon fly away from me. Maybe later I will repeat it once again and find the answer.
No, you will not find the answer.
And I had a feeling actually that, oh my God, I'm so small. I'm so not significant when you point on yourself. There is, there is something much more bigger than you are. You're just a part of something.
for me, the first answer was me. And then I stopped and I said, okay, now I'm pointing to the finger. Should I see my finger or the finger is pointing to me? And then I started asking myself, should I answer me or the finger? So it was this, I didn't know from which perspective. So it was somehow a double sense. I don't know. And then it was like time frozen and just staring at the finger that was staring at me. And yeah, but and then I started laughing. In that moment, I started laughing. I said, it's no use. So yeah, I'm curious what the kids will answer. Yeah.
So this movement, from here, from me to this, is the difference between participatory or Boalian theatre and context-oriented theatre. So that's the reflective Boalian consciousness. This is the proprioceptive Bohmian consciousness that we explore with sensory labyrinth theatre. So there's one practice we very late with this, which is called "What if all there is this?" So I can record this for you, or we can do it now. What's your preference? And
we can do it now, and whoever needs to go because it's too late can watch the recording.
Is that okay, Eugene? You'll be translating.
For me, it would be nice to have it.
Okay.
Yes, let's record it today.
Let's do it then. All right. So let's. So it's nice to do after this as well. So, what is this? Because this next question is, as I've said before, you can define context-oriented ask in these 7 words. What if? What if all there is this? So closing our eyes, settling into this body and this breath. And in this, we are turning our observation onto ourselves. There's still an observer, there's still an observed. But the observer is not looking, craving some distraction, avoiding some situation or some thoughts. But it's still in ignorance, because it believes there is an observer and the observed. Still believes that there's an I, that there's time, there's a character on a journey in a play called life. Still believes it was born, will die, and tries as best as it can to maintain its health and sanity and to carry on this game between those two, birth and death, the entrance and the exit. But at least with mindfulness and with the participatory or Boalian theatre, we're looking inwards and outwards. It's 50-50 awareness. And while there is this separation, there is also this sense of lack, the sense that if I do this, I will get this. Or if I don't do this, then this will happen. Or if I go and study with this teaching, if I take this path, eventually, in this life or the next, I will be free or liberated. Or if I have popcorn and watch a film, I'll be happy for time being. Or if I get super fit and practice yoga, my body will suddenly release all this trauma. But in the context-oriented arts, we explore the possibility of this phrase, what if? So it's an invitation to play with it. What if all there is this? What if all there is this that's happening right now? And it's just happening. It's not happening to anybody. Although the appearance of it happening to somebody is also just happening. And this is a very, very disappointing message for the self, for the ego, because it's dependent on there being something somewhere else. Some light at the end of the tunnel, or something at the end of the road, or something in the next moment that will suddenly allow us to understand or grow. Or no, there is nothing else except this. This is all there is right now. And this right now is in the moment of my speaking, but it's also whenever this is listened to again in the future. Because there is no time. There's just this. And the mind is sitting here thinking about waiting to get this, to get what this is about. It can never, ever get this. It can never, ever have this. Because it's already here. And we have never been separate from it. And then maybe the mind says, yes, but I have karma and I'm conditioned and I have guilt and shame. And the innocence of this is complete. Not hair on the body of this innocence, if you like, has been touched by anything. It's not even aware of all of that story. It's just this. And this experience of sitting, breathing, listening, bodying, appearance of all that happening to somebody. If that's what's happening, that is what's happening. But it's not happening to anybody. I've spent so much time invested in this person, in writing this inner book, of which I'm the author. That's just happening to no one. What if all there is this? Taking a deep breath in, a deep breath out. Deep breath in, a deep breath out. A deep breath in and holding it. When we breathe out, we can make that ah sound together. 3, 2, 1. Ah. Okay, so I'll just share the final slide, which is the home practice slide. I think Maya Tita is still in the labyrinth there. And simply listening to that and trying it. What if all there is this, and the what is this hack? If you like to give that a go over the week, and then we'll have a final session next Monday, which is called the Space Beyond. So Space Within, I think. What's this one called? Space Between, and then there's the Space Beyond. So let's finish. Anybody want to say anything about that practice?
I want to say, I noticed that I carry too much worries with me, and like they don't have any importance. Really. That's all.
Thank you, Julia. While Maya Tita is stuck in silence, which is good. I wish you all a wonderful week. And thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Ewan. I lost.
Thank you.
All right, ciao.
Have a nice week.